What's going on, YouTube? We back again with another video, but this time we going with the low taper on the afro, man. This is one of my favorite haircuts to do on one of my favorite clients, one of my favorite brothers, one of the best people in the world, my guy Cairo. So the first thing we want to do is pick out the afro to make sure that we can get a good freehand on the afro before we start to do the taper. We want to kind of set the foundation for things and put everything in place and be able to have a nice taper as if it was picked out or after we sponge it. Your client should be able to rock the afro both ways if they decide to do so. So now all I'm doing here is freehanding that hair that's hanging over the taper so that when I do this taper you can see it and the hair from the afro won't hang over and overshadow the actual haircut. And while I'm doing this, I'm not taking a whole lot off, I'm just taking off just a little bit. You don't want to delete the afro aspect of the haircut. You don't want to make it into a box fade or a drop fade type of shape. You know, you just kind of want to put a little shape on it, keep the flow of the afro going in that same type of direction. And now I'm just gonna comb down on that afro in the taper area to pull all the hairs out that we're gonna work with. Now I'm going to use my 1.5 guard and go with the grain on the taper with the hairs we just combed out of the afro. This is smoothing down our workspace so that we don't start doing the taper on a puffy foundation. You always want to smooth down the area that you're going to work in. That way it makes the job easier, saves time, and it makes for a crispier hairline without enhancements. Here I have my clippers no guard closed and I'm setting the guideline in right above the ear. This is where I set my guideline in for low tapers. Now we're going to go no guard open. And we're just going to go up just a little bit. You know, with a low taper, we always think we got to do too much. Just keep it simple. And notice how I'm using the right side of my blade. I'm not using the whole blade, I'm just using the right side only. And I set the guideline in with my clippers no guard open, and there's zero gap, but they're not biting, so they're not gonna cut my client, and it makes it easier for me to take that line out instead of going in with my trimmers going bald and just fighting with that line the whole haircut. You can just go in with your clippers no guard closed and then bald out at the end. It saves a lot of time and it just makes everything so much more easier. Now I'm gonna go to the third notch, AKA halfway, and I'm just gonna fade in between those two spots that we just created, a step below the no guard open, so that we can start fading the no guard all the way open into the no guard all the way closed, trying to get the smoothest blend possible. Now here I'm gonna go to the second notch, one above the third one, one below the first one. And I'm just gonna come back down a little bit in the fade and start getting very, very close to no guard close. This is gonna help my blend transition a little bit more. As I go into no guard close all the way, we're gonna finish up that blend at the no guard level. Now I'm just doing some lever play, going back no guard open, and just cleaning up some little spots that I see. Like I see, you have to develop an eye for these details so you can go in and, you know, touch up your blends as well. Now I just drop to halfway. Now I'm gonna go in and bald out after I've started my initial fading process. This saves a lot more time and you don't have to fight with that harsh bald line in the beginning. You can just come and bald out at the end. Now do not create another line when doing this, just bald out under where you have already cut it, and then you can do a little spot hidden, but do not mess up your taper. Now I'm taking my 1.5 guard, we're gonna go against the grain this time. Now we're gonna start our down fading process. Now we're just gonna go up to that thickness in that taper and just flick out. We're not doing nothing too crazy, we're not going up too high. we're just flicking at that thickness right there. That's it. All we're doing is down fading. So we're gonna go from the 1.5 guard all the way down until we get the blend how we want it to be. Now I'm gonna close my lever up all the way, and we're just gonna come back in and soften that line up again. Now I'm gonna put on my 0.5 guard and start to push the fade up. This is gonna be the guard that's gonna give us the smoothest transition, because as you can see, it's already blended together. We don't have to do too much. But I'm going in close with the corner of my blade and just nudging at that fade, just getting out the thickness. All we're doing is pulling out the thickness, lightening up that workspace and getting it to blend with the bottom of that taper. As y'all can see, I'm using the left side with the last 3 teeth on the left side and the last 3 teeth on the right side. I'm really not using the whole blade, because with this type of taper, the full blade is not required. All right, so right here I'm going 0.5 guard all the way open, and we're just gonna move up just a little bit more with the corner of our blade. Not going up too high, just connecting this blend, making it better. Pulling out the thickness, that's all we're doing. Now we're gonna close the clipper up halfway to continue our process. Now I'm gonna go no guard open, use the corner of my blade to detail. All we're doing is holding it to the side and just detailing that bottom area to make our blend stand out just a little bit more. You just have to develop what I call the barber's eye to be able to get small details like this. So now I'm gonna take my 2 guard and I'm gonna open the lever up all the way, and I'm gonna continue the process of taking the thickness out of the top of the taper to make things flow in, you know, very smoothly. So now I'm gonna go all the way closed after going halfway, and I'm gonna use my corner to get in this tight area right here. You know, sometimes it's not best to use a full blade. Most times it's just best to use the corner for how much space you have. Now I'm taking my 1.5 guard and I'm gonna come in that middle area in between the 2 and the 1 guard and just clean up that area as well. And now I'm gonna close it up. As you all can see, it's just a process of taking out the darkness and creating a blend. The blend is from light to dark or from dark to light. So all we're doing is creating a process and cleaning up the things that we didn't hit previously. And now I'm laying it down against the grain with the 1.5 guard to keep that taper dark and to keep the boxes on the hairline dark, so that when we line it up, we really don't need any enhancements because there's enough hair to make it crispy naturally. So we're gonna do the same exact thing as the other side of the taper. So I sped these clips up and I'm gonna get back with y'all when we get to the neck taper. Alright, so now same concept. All I'm gonna do is pick the hair out and we're gonna freehand it just a little bit. We ain't gonna try to cut too much out, but we're gonna add some shape to the back of the hair. Now I'm gonna come in no guard close and set in my first guideline. I'm not putting it in bald, I'm putting it in with my clippers, and we're gonna clean the area up. Now we're gonna go no guard open, same process, halfway, close, clean it up, and we're gonna begin our guard work. Now I got on my 2 guard. I'm gonna leave that joint open and we're just gonna come in and scoop out. We're not trying to create a harsh guideline, but we are trying to keep the top of the taper dark so that it can flow into the afro. A lot of tapers get real ugly once you disconnect it from the afro and there is no fluidity to the haircut and the taper and the bulkiness in the fro. Now I'm gonna come back with my 0.5 guard close and just nudge at that line and start to create my blend from my no guard open. And what I mean by that is we're not gonna come in with the 1 guard, we're gonna start working from the bottom of the taper to the top of the taper. Now we're gonna open that 0.5 guard up. So we're trying to use this 0.5 guard to blend into our 2. So if we need to put on the 1.5 and the 1, which I probably am gonna do, we're gonna do so. But we're trying to blend into the 2. Now I'm putting on my 1.5 guard, got it closed up. Now we're just gonna scoop out at that thickness at the top of that taper to try to make everything flow together. Alright, now what I like to do is a mock draft on the ear line up, on the neck line up, because it allows for the taper to come together and see where you need to fade it again, where you can detail it. So I like to set in a rough draft of the neckline and come back and detail my taper. Now I'm coming back in and I'm debulking the area around the ear because I seen that it was a lot of thickness there. So I'm gonna take my time and just get that to connect and come back and clean it up just like so. Now we're gonna pick the front out and do what we did on the side taper and the back taper and just knock off some of those loose hairs to give the haircut some shape, give the afro some shape so that the afro won't be hanging over the hairline to give it some longevity. Now I'm just gonna comb out the hairs in the front to create a crispy lineup, and I'm gonna knock it down my 1.5 guard. The goal is to not separate the hair on the lineup from the afro to where it look like 2 different haircuts. The goal is to have it flowing in seamlessly to where you can see a crispy lineup that flows into the afro as well. Now I have a neck strip with alcohol on it. I'm gonna clean the canvas off, getting all the oils and dirt and grease that may be on his hairline and his forehead so that my clippers can run right through it. Now I'm gonna come in with some holding spray to hold everything in place and follow it up with my blow dryer so that I can get this nice crispy line up and the hair will not move out of place. Now this is everybody's favorite part. I'm gonna lift the hairline with the comb to see where the hairline actually is, because a lot of this be overhang. But we're not gonna cut too much of it off though. We're just gonna tap and go, keep everything as low as we can while having the crispy line up. We want everything to pop, stand out, and last long. Those are our objectives when doing any hairline. And on this vertical bar, it is kind of light, so we're gonna bring it out some. We're not gonna take it back. We're gonna bring some of it out. We want this haircut to be very sharp without enhancements. So when we do add the enhancements, it just enhances the cut like it's supposed to. We don't wanna have to fill his whole head up with black spray. We wanna be able to put a light amount on there to where it can pop out as well. Now with his C-cups, we wanna follow the natural pattern of it all the way down and just keep it as natural as we can. We don't want to dig into it and create anything, because that's going to make it to where he's going to need a haircut in 2 or 3 days because we didn't dug into it too much. So we just need to keep following the natural pattern, the natural growth pattern of this hairline on the C-cup. And if you would like a pair of these trimmers, the link is in the description below. If you click on it, it'll take you right to the website and you can go ahead and grab you a pair. These are some trimmers that you can use straight out the box. You don't need no adjustments or nothing. They're already zero gapped and they don't damage the skin. Now I'm gonna follow this up with my razor, keeping very small, precise strokes. We don't want to damage the skin or cut too much of anything off. We just want to hit where we need to hit and sharpen this line up so that it can stand out very natural and be very sharp, especially on this light box area right here what we was talking about previously. And this is the finished product, natural. We are going to add some enhancements on it, but we're not going to add too much. I'm going to show y'all how to get a great enhanced lineup without adding too much enhancements on it. So I'm going to do quarter pumps. I'm just going to tap it just a little bit. It's going to be very light. I'm just enhancing those light areas only. I'm not just going in spraying the whole edge up, making it black. I'm only darkening those lighter areas. That's all I'm doing. And it's all gonna come together once we do the vertical bars and the C-cups. It's gonna lay down perfectly and come together. Watch what I tell you. Even on the vertical bars, it's very light enhancements, nothing crazy. We're not even gonna use a compressor. We just using straight fibers to darken those areas up. Nothing heavy, very light. Less is more when it comes to enhancements. On certain cuts, because some cuts take a little bit more though. And this is the finished cut enhanced. I hope everybody liked this video. I hope y'all learned something. Once again, I'm not perfect. I'm not the best barber out here or on YouTube, but I'm sharing my perspective as a barber to help other people get their skills better. So if you learned something from this video, man, share it with somebody and add it to your game. And I'm gonna keep putting out some more content for y'all because, man, each one teach one. So I'll be back with the next tutorial pretty soon, trying to stay consistent.